defendant will rise, face the jury, and hearken to its verdicts.
State of Wisconsin versus Kyle Rittenhouse. As to the first count of the information, Joseph Rosenbaum. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the second count of the information, Richard McGinnis. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the third count of the information, unknown male. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fourth count of the information, Anthony Huber. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty. As to the fifth count of the information, Gage Grosskreutz. We, the jury, find the defendant, Kyle H. Rittenhouse, not guilty.
Members of the jury, are these your unanimous verdicts? Is there anyone who does not agree with the verdicts as read? Would you wish the jury polled? No. Okay. Okay, folks, your job is done, and we started just about 3 weeks ago. And I told you it could last 2 weeks and 2 days. This is 2 weeks. This is 3 weeks. You were a wonderful jury to work with. You were punctual. You were attentive. And the forgotten six over here who had a very difficult job of keeping from discussing the case during the time that they were sequestered as well. All of you, I couldn't have asked for a better jury to work with. And it has truly been my pleasure. I think, without commenting on your the verdicts themselves, just in terms of your the attentiveness and the cooperation that you gave to us, justifies the confidence that the founders of our country placed in you. So I dismiss you at this time. You're never under any obligation to discuss any aspect of this case with anyone. You're welcome to do so as little or as much as you want. The media have requested, a number of media sources have requested the ability to talk to you, and they have been allowed to present presentations to you that you'll get in writing, and it's entirely up to you whether you want to contact them. They are not to contact you. If anyone does contact you and just tell them you're not interested in discussing it, if that's the case, and if anyone persists in doing so, report that to us and it will be addressed, I assure you. At the beginning of the trial, there was some concern about information and your safety. And I assure you that we will take every measure to ensure that that is, your concerns are addressed and respected.
I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Wednesday, happy days. It's just one of those happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home. It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
just knock it off, you scumbucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of those happy days. It's just one of those happy days. It's just one of those happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand. It's just one of those days. Feeling like a freight train. First one you complain. Please with the blood stain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better you cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just
I'm losing my cool.
it's all about the happy days. It's just one of those happy days. It's just one of those happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand.
Feel like shit. My suggestion is keep the distance.
Right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
My day keeps going this way and this way. I'm gonna pop you one
one, so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I'm like a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw. What? So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here is
not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 45 of the Mood of the Nation podcast. How is everyone doing this fine, very dark, very cold Thursday evening? I am, of course, tired and exhausted after work this past week, but hopefully I can manage for maybe not the entire full show, the entire 2 hours, because what I'm thinking about doing tonight, folks, is do the show for maybe an hour and a half, so up until 7:30, because I actually might want to do this episode like a two-parter, mainly because obviously we know what happened with the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict, and then there was stuff afterwards that came after it, including the recent attack that happened at a Christmas, I believe it was fair or parade, I believe it was. So I think what I want to do is I definitely want to cover all of that for this topic, but I think I'm going to do this in a two-parter. So the first part we're doing tonight is basically the brief summary of what happened during the BLM riots, including in Wisconsin and, of course, with Kyle Rittenhouse. Then we'll talk about the court hearings themselves, and then we'll talk about the aftermath of it. Well, of course, the previous two things I mentioned, of course, like a very brief summary of that, and then we're definitely going to talk about the absolute aftermath of it. So hopefully everyone will be appreciating that for this fine show. Let me have a look and see who's in the chat just now. And also apologies for the lateness again tonight. The reason why I was late earlier on this evening is mainly because I was just finishing off having my dinner, because I literally had nothing to eat all day up until tonight. And I was just really hungry, so I thought, right, I'll quickly make myself something like pizza, as of course what I had, and then I'll just get ready for the show. But anyway, that being said, let me have a look and see who is in the chat this evening. Of course, from what I've seen so far, is a lot of familiar faces as per usual. For example, we have Steve Cray. How you doing, Steve? Thank you for watching the show. Budgie Burger, how you doing? I had been blocked from GlueTube for 5 days. I thought I had lost you at the pain, the horror. Anyway, I seem to be breathing again. Yeah, YouTube is not very an ideal platform for people to go on to at this point. But anyway, we also have Amanda Lee. How you doing, Amanda? Toby Radley. How you doing, Toby? Thank you for watching the show. We also have English Sailor, as usual. Cutlets 14, even to you too. Thank you for being here. We also have the lovely English Rose. How you doing, English Rose? Thank you very much for watching the show. I hope you're all well. Same to yourself, Rose. Appreciate you being here. We also, of course, have Gammon Sandwich in the chat. Even maybe lurking this evening, got to get ready for bed. Early shift in the morning. Fair enough, Gammon. Again, appreciate you being here anyway. Thank you very much for that. Canny Hinney, how you doing? As always, thank you very much for watching the show. We also here, folks, have the Woodlander in the chat. Even everyone, hope you're all fine and dandy. Same to yourself, Woodlander. I did catch a glimpse of last night's PWR episode with yourself. From what I've seen of that episode, I didn't see the full episode in its entirety, but because obviously I was really busy last night. But from what I've seen last night, really good stuff. And of course, I did see you in other streams before. I think another stream I've seen you on was a Jody Kay's stream. I think it was maybe like a year ago or maybe a few months back. But again, really good stuff, and hopefully in the future, if you're interested, maybe you can come on my show. We can maybe have a chat here and there. Again, that is only if you're interested, of course. But please, everyone, please go and subscribe to Woodlander. He does produce really great content from time to time. But again, great appearance you had on, or you were on with PWR with Mark and Jason. So anyway, we also have Corona in the chat. A mate of mine said the other day that he saw a boy walking to school wearing a skirt. Oh dear, well, what's happening, isn't it? Oh yeah. So for those that don't know, I'm pretty sure everyone in the chat has already been aware of this, but I believe it's only happening well, I'm pretty sure it is only happening in Scotland, of course, but apparently for the sake of diversity within schools, the the male pupils or the boys are somewhat not being forced, but they're kind of been persuaded into wearing skirts rather than trousers. And the reason for this being is because they want to promote diversity and equality between both genders within schools. When ultimately speaking, it's just basically another way to try and demasculate the male pupils. Basically, instead of having them grown up to be strong-willed men in the future, they're going to grow up to be emancipated soy boys, which is, of course, as funny as that may sound, but it's basically the harsh reality we're facing at the moment. Of course, men are becoming a lot like women, and women are becoming a lot like men. It's a complete travesty, I know, but that's again the harsh reality of it all. We're all go all the way to hell, folks. Yep, indeed we are, Corona. Optus responds to Gamma Sandwich. Streaky Bacon, inshallah, infidels, inshallah to you too. Streaky Bacon, thank you very much for being here. We also have Tam in the chat. Hello, Tam. Thank you very much for tuning into the show. Appreciate you being here, brother. Rory Herbert, as per usual. Good evening, folks. Hail to the chief. Well, thank you very much, Rory, for the comment. We also have Bill Atheling. How you doing, Bill? Thank you very much for watching the show. And again, you recently appeared on PA Talk with Cyborg. I believe Ross was on the show, and also Mean Peen, if I'm not mistaken. Charlie, I don't think was on that show that you were on. But again, really good stuff from what I've seen. I couldn't watch it live, mainly because I thought, because how busy I am at work, and because of how tired I get after work, I usually sometimes fall asleep up until maybe like 12 o'clock. I fall asleep around about like almost late at the night. So around about say 7 or 8 o'clock in the evening, and I don't wake up until 11 or 12 o'clock. So unfortunately, I missed the stream, but I did watch a rerun of the stream, but obviously upload onto the Cyborg's channel. From what I've seen, of course, again, really good stuff, and I really enjoyed the video itself. So, but again, thank you very much for being here, Bill. Thank you very much. Who else is in the chat? There's my comment. Just let everyone know I'm busy sorting stuff out. We're of course having dinner. I'm visiting a friend on the council estate in Hackney. It is literally like a jungle up there. Yeah, apparently there's a lot of areas in towns and cities that are becoming a lot more urban. In fact, I even had to chat with a gentleman not too long ago when I was out with PA Scotland doing the Remembrance Sunday, especially, of course, recording and doing audio for the video we did. And this guy, I think he's a member of PA Scotland. I'm not entirely too sure, but we had a brief chat about the current state of demographics that are going on at the moment, and how a lot of these areas, especially in Glasgow, specific areas in Glasgow that are becoming a lot less white and becoming more and more diverse, or more minority based, if you will. And it's becoming less and less like a Scottish town or city, and it's becoming a lot more non-white, essentially. It's been taken over, not all the city, but parts of the city in Glasgow are being taken over by these migrants. And it's, of course, it is like a huge reality of it all. Unless we do something about it, then it's just only going to get worse from here at this point. That being said, let me continue on from there. Cheers for the support. No worries. We also have, of course, Beer Hall Pooch in the chat. How you doing, Beer Hall Pooch? Appreciate you being here. Let me see here. Arpow, even to you too. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Tearjerker. Oh, this is a response to the video I showed at the very start. We also have Hightower 005. Hello, Hightower. Thank you very much for being here, sir. I really appreciate you being here. Innocent, yeah, this is a reaction to the video showcase. That's fine. I've also noticed as well that there's 44 people watching the show already. And also, I want to quickly say thanks to Mark for sharing the stream for tonight. I really appreciate that. If he's watching, of course. Again, really do appreciate that. Hopefully, more people will be coming along watching the show. We'll just need to wait and see, of course. We shall wait. I hope he sues their effing arses. Possibly, but I don't know when it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse because there is that video he made with Tucker Carlson, which I want to cover that in part 2 for Sunday's episode. Because again, I want to I'll do this in kind of like a chronological order type of idea, but we shall see. Persons look like you've been through hell too. Jojo Gizmo, how you doing? Thank you very much for being here. Wolfie498, that was perfect timing. Just got here to not guilty. Fair enough, Wolfie. But again, appreciate you being here as well. The judge said, well done, guys. Indeed, he did. We also have Kitchen Skillet. Hello, Kitchen Skillet. How you doing? Thank you very much for being here. Let me see here. Somewhat getting up to date with the chat. We also have Ugly Truth. Hello, Ugly Truth. How you doing? Thank you very much for being here as well. And yeah, I think that's getting up to date with the chat. So the media has already memory hold the Wakesha attack. Oh, don't get me wrong. Oh, don't get me started on that time. That's something I definitely want to cover. Well, I already mentioned it earlier on the show, but I'll cover that in part 2 of this Kyle Rittenhouse. I guess you can call it a mini retrospect if you want to call it that. So. But I'll cover that this Sunday's episode for part 2, so we definitely shall cover that. So, Streaky Bacon, Chief, really good to see you, Mucker. Same to yourself, Streaky Bacon. Yep, I think that's me up to date with the chat. We also have Linda Hunter. Hello, Linda. Thank you very much for watching the show. Let me see here. Cheers, Chief. We appreciate it. No worries, Woodlander. Let me see. Okay, right. Just want to double check and see. I'll try to be as brief as I possibly can. Of course, we have Ragnar Ironspear. Hello, Ragnar. How you doing? We also have Rigor Mortis, as per usual. How you doing? Let me see. Oh, we also have the European Housewife. Hello. How you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Appreciate you being here. Let me see here. It's pretty much a full house tonight. Somewhat. Spiffy Acorn, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. If you're enjoying the stream, please feel free to hit the like button. Thank you very much, English Rose. And they are right in saying, please hit the like button if you haven't done so already, folks. It would be much appreciated, as it would definitely support the show moving forward, of course, for more attention and all of that during the algorithm. I know YouTube is a really bad site for that, but again, just to get myself out there, it would definitely help, of course, with the continuous pressing of the like button. And even later on tonight, I'm going to see if I can upload more videos of Mood of the Nation onto my Odyssey channel, because I definitely need to get updated with that, of course. The common census will be a real eye-opener. I cannot wait for that. Oh, we have another familiar person in the chat. We also have Joe Marsh. Hello, Joe. How you doing? You guys, what's happening? Just getting on with the show. So I thank you very much for being here, Joe. I don't know if maybe I might have said this to you in person during the conference, but again, it was really nice meeting you in person during the conference back in October, I think it was, late October. But again, really good stuff. So again, appreciate you being here, Joe. Thank you very much. On your feet, sub buddy. Hope I'm not late. No, not too late. We're not really delving into anything at the moment, because I actually cannot believe we're almost half an hour into the show already. So, but no, we'll just get started onto that just now. 31 likes, 46 in the chat. Smash that like button, folks. Definitely. Thank you very much for that, Ragnar Iron Spear. Let's see. Finally, we have Julia Skinner. I'm swimming, so I might miss a few words. No worries, Julia. Again, appreciate you being here. Thank you very much. Anyway, that's me up to date with the chat. Everyone is here, and it's great. Thank you all very much for watching the show, whether it be me posting the episode on Twitter or Gab, or if it was Mark who shared the stream. That might be the reason why. Say hello to So, hold on 1 second. From Julius Skinner. Say hello to Bushy Graham, my son. Hello, Bushy Graham. So I hope you enjoy the show. Thank you very much. What's this? Chief Mini Streaky Bacon Budget Burger. What was that? What shall I? Oh, of course. Thank you very much, Steve Cray. Right. Let's just get right into the show itself. Now, I know I did want to cover this on this past Sunday's episode, but due to the fact that I was talking about the Liverpool bombing at the Women's Hospital that happened last week or the week before, if I'm not mistaken. But I wanted to cover that first of all, and then go over to the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict, the main topic at hand for episode 44. But due to the fact that it took so long for me to cover that topic, I decided I'm just going to postpone that for tonight's episode, which is something we're going to delve into right now. So, enough dilly dallying. I know we're half an hour in. Let's just get right into the meat and potatoes here of this particular topic. So, where to start with this Kyle Rittenhouse case? Well, I think we should start from the very beginning with last year, if I remember. But we all know what happened during the summer of last year. George Floyd was, well, a lot of the mainstream press would say he was murdered by the police, but to me, Bushy says, thank you. No worries, Bushy. Thank you very much for watching the show. Appreciate you being here. But anyway, sorry. Continuing on what I was saying, the whole George Floyd thing happened. We all know that he died of a drug overdose of fentanyl, of course, but the mainstream media will tell you otherwise. He was murdered by the white police officers, of course. And this sparked a massive movement. Well, of course, BLM was around before George Floyd, but this was, to me, this was the event that really pushed the narrative of Black Lives Matter into the mainstream media. And also, just real quick, hello, Evola's sunglasses. How you doing? Thank you very much for being here. And finally, removed from society for the benefit of its citizens. Yes, indeed. 50 people watching the show. That's really great. So, anyway, sorry, I'll continue on from there. So, after that, of course, BLM were not happy with this to the point where they decided to spark. I guess we all know they're basically riots, but of course, the mainstream media were desperate to call them "quote unquote" peaceful protests. And I know this is a point that was made before on the show. It's not entirely an original point to make. Myself, Mark Collett, Laura Tyler, everyone from our side of the fence has made this point before, that the mainstream media trying to make it out it was a peaceful protest, but we all know they were just complete, utter riots that happened across America, well, more specifically in Minnesota, to the point where it destroyed lives, it destroyed businesses. There was a huge amount of property damage. I believe something that they talked about on the show before, but I believe the estimated amount was between. I might be wrong in saying this, so for someone in the chat, please correct me if I'm wrong in saying the estimated amount. But I believe it was between $2 to $3 million, if I'm not mistaken. Might be more than that, but I'm not entirely too sure. Like I said, if someone in the chat can correct me on that, that would be much appreciated. So during the riots in Wisconsin, of course, this brings into Kyle Rittenhouse. Wisconsin, well, of course, we all know this happened in Wisconsin, but Kyle Rittenhouse decided to go to Wisconsin because, from what I remember during the case, he decided he never went there to kill anybody or commit any harm or anything like that at all. He wanted to go there because he wanted to defend not necessarily the state, but some certain properties and to help out the community that were suffering because of the riots that happened. And of course, we all know what happened from there. Kyle Rittenhouse got attacked by the three scumbags, who we know to be as Joseph Rosenbaum, Anthony Huber, and I believe the third person in question, the name escapes me at the moment. I'm sure someone will mention that in the chat. And even Woodlander, I think, is referring to the cost of damages as way more. Yeah, again, I think maybe 2 or 3 million might be. What's the old saying when it comes to that? It might be too soft when it comes to that amount. Oh, here we go. Corona. Gross Kreutz. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but yeah, basically that. We also have a comment from Tam in the chat. Chief Moody, he lived 20 minutes away from Kenosha and worked there. Funny thing is that Grosskreutz, the Antifa nerd who got his bicep blown off, yes, I do remember that, actually had to travel further to get there, of course. Kyle only did what the police should have. Exactly, yes. Kyle was the only person who actually did the job of what the police were meant to be doing, which is to serve and protect the public. Obviously, because during the time of the riots, they are not white. Of course, when it comes to Rosenbaum and also Huber and also Grosskreutz, of course, very European-sounding names, as we all know. But of course, during the case, and of course, even when the whole story broke out, a lot of people try to make him out as if they were white, but ultimately speaking, they were Jewish. So I think you can all know exactly where this is going in terms of how this case ended up turning to the case that it is. In terms of Kyle Rittenhouse defended himself, a lot of people claim that no, he did not defend himself. He tried to harm a lot of people as much as he can, to the point where he gunned down both Huber and also Rosenbaum. Two of the guys in question, I definitely want to cover in a few minutes here, because I think it's important to talk about this regarding to that. But my state lines, Open Borders Advocate 2021. Yeah, see, it's very funny that all these lefty types are making this point, despite the fact they're probably the same group of people who will say open borders, left and right, whether it be in America or Britain or anywhere in the Western Hemisphere. But for some reason, when it comes to Kyle Rittenhouse, who goes to another state line, in this case being Wisconsin and Kenosha, all of a sudden these open borders advocate have a huge problem with that, which is really, of course, it's not really that surprising, because we all know for a fact that these open border types are only for open borders when it comes to non-whites coming into the country. But a white person who is born and bred within America, they are full-blooded American. They went to another state line. Oh no, apparently that's problematic to these people. Apparently so. From Tam again. Pretty sure Grosskreutz was a Gentile. Huber and Rosenbaum were Jays, though. Yeah, because a lot of people say that it was Huber and Rosenbaum that were Jays. Yeah, that's a good point. Whereas Grosskreutz was not part of that tribe, but he is Gentile. Thank you for the correction, Tam. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. And also, real quick, hello Noel, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Ugly Truth. If Kyle was black, the left would worship him. Yes. Same exact way how the left worship St. George Floyd, of course, as we all know. Rittenhouse has since cucked and said he supports BLM, but obviously he said this to get on Tucker's show. Well, again, I completely understand where you're coming from with that, Indigenous advocate, and also thank you very much for being on the show. That's something I definitely want to cover as well, because it's something I did see. I can't remember when I saw the clip, but obviously this was an interview with Tucker Carlson, as Indigenous advocate pointed out in the chat. It's something that I wasn't entirely too happy with what Kyle Rittenhouse said about that. But again, that's something I want to say for part 2, so I'll not say it now. Again, part of the whole chronological order. But I'll definitely want to cover that for part 2, so I'll save that for later on in terms of my points about that. But anyway, continuing on from there, long story short, that whole thing happened. Kyle Rittenhouse defended himself. Kyle Rittenhouse was arrested because of it, because again, a lot of people made the point about, it wasn't self-defense, it was bodily harm to Rosenbaum, Grosskreutz, and also Huber, which is funny with the left, because even then the left themselves came out and said that people like Rosenbaum and Huber and Grosskreutz were considered heroes to the left, which, considering I have some very damning points to make about these 3 people, specifically Rosenbaum and also Huber, we can see that nobody should ever be a leftist regarding to that, especially for the stuff that Huber and also Rosenbaum are also have been guilty with in the past, which again, something I'll cover in just in a few moments here. Let me see just now. So, of course, we then get to the current year, 2021, in November. The court case happened, and I'm going to be honest with everyone. I was kind of black-pilled on the whole thing because I was convinced of the idea that Kyle Rittenhouse was going to be considered guilty, mainly because it was the state of Wisconsin going against Kyle Rittenhouse. And of course, the fact that both Rosenbaum and Huber, as we mentioned on the show, were part of the J tribe, I would imagine that the Jays would try and could do everything they can to screw Kyle Rittenhouse as much as humanly possible. Although I have caught some episodes. The only stream I've been watching about the case itself was Nick Rekieta. Now, I don't know if anyone in the chat may have heard about Nick Rekieta before, but that was the only stream I watched to get the full coverage of the Kyle Rittenhouse case. And then, of course, there were some good moments that happened during the case themselves. A lot of, in terms of the prosecution, not only were just acting like massive douchebags, but they made themselves to be utterly desperate during the whole case themselves. Even points being made about stuff that completely contradicts with what they say regarding to the whole case. But again, it goes back to this whole thing about they were just desperate to get anything to get Kyle Rittenhouse convicted of this case. So then we get to, when exactly was the verdict happen? I know it was a Friday. I do know that. I think it was the 19th of November, if I'm not mistaken. But now, if you can forgive me for saying this, but I caught the reading of the verdict on Steve Crowder's stream because, of course, that was something they were covering as well. Because it was a very in the moment type of stream that was going on. So I thought, right, I'll watch that and then see from there. And yeah, before the verdict came out, my heart was pounding. I thought, right, this is it. This could go either way, either guilty or not guilty. Let's just see what the verdict will be. And sure enough, the woman in question read out the verdict. As we all know, Kyle Rittenhouse was not guilty on all 5 charges of the overall case, which was something that I was over the moon with. I know a lot of people on our side were over the moon by that. It was nice to see that Kyle Rittenhouse was let go and is found innocent, not guilty of all 5 charges, which is really good to see that. And of course, even our pal in the chat said the judge is a legend. Absolutely, that's very true. The judge is an absolute legend during this case. And also, real quick from English Rose, typical anti-white hypocrisy. They will jump to any position if it means that they can harm whites. Yes, exactly that. Very good point. Kyle is cucked. He might deny race played that part, but this case is all about race, whether he understands or not. The rioters were made up of many Jays, funded by Jays to wage war on white society. Yes, very good point. I guess something that I mentioned earlier on the show in terms of this is very case in point, a very anti-white case. It's trying to it's trying to create this idea of dismantle like white society, as our pal would point that out. No, so not our pal. Sorry, Indigenous Advocate. Sorry. But it was, and of course, I know that there was a lot of pressure with the people in the jury, especially people from the mainstream media themselves. In fact, I think it was, from what I remember hearing, I think it was the MSNBC who were following the bus that the jury rode in. I know, and some people tried to dox the jury. Some people tried to threaten the jury, like, oh, if you get Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, hold on 1 second here. Something just popped up. My bad. Sorry, I'll just continue more from there. If you find Kyle Rittenhouse innocent and not guilty, then there's going to be hell to pay. Stuff like that. Which again, it's the same song and dance. We've seen these kinds of tactics from the left time and time again. But it really goes to show that if they're losing, they will do everything they can to get that victory. They will stoop to any low to get any type of victory whatsoever. That includes harassment, doxing, violence, you name it. These lefty types have no sense of honor or anything like that at all. They are complete, utter scum. So, as we mentioned or just now on the show, Kyle Rittenhouse is found innocent. I did mention about like people on our side were over the moon with this. The other side of the fence, however, let's just say there was a lot of spurging out on social media, especially platforms like Twitter. Oh, the salt mine was it was a lot. It was a lot. A lot of funny tweets came out of it. Even a lot of like cringy tweets that came out, and a lot of really sick and scumbaggy tweets that came out as well. This is also real quick. Kerr from PA Young Scots. How you doing, Kerr? Thank you very much for watching the show. Appreciate you being here, brother. I wonder how many groupies Kyle has been with already. I wouldn't want to imagine that, to be honest. But right, where to start off first in terms of the content? Well, there's one thing I want to cover real quick during the reaction of the verdict itself. I think it would be fair to say that the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict did spawn a brand new meme for 2021, and that would be the BLM. I believe she was the leader or she was a member of BLM having a massive seizure fit because of the verdict, which is something that reminds me back in 2017 during the presidential inauguration. So let me just showcase what I mean just now. I'm going to showcase both videos. I'm sure you guys have seen these videos in the past, but let me just showcase here real quick. Right, I just quickly pause that. Oops. Nah, it hasn't really put it. God damn it. Right, that's up, ready to go. And then I shall get the other video in question. The only place or platform I could see this video on before the show started was on World Star Hip Hop. Now, I know that's basically Jogger Central, but again, just for the context, we'll check it out from there. Let me see it. That's not playing. That's good. So let's have a look here. So let me just share the screen real quick and then showcase this brand new meme that I think has been spawned after this case. So something that happened back in 2017 during the presidential inauguration of Donald Trump. And I'm pretty sure you all may remember this meme. So let's have a look.
Donald J. Trump is now president of the United States. President
What a great honor to be able to introduce for the first time ever anywhere the 45th President of the United States of America, Donald.
Autism screeching. Anyway, so moving on from there. So that was back in 2017. Now let's see the 2021 equivalent to that clip. Let's have a look here. So enjoy, folks. Enjoy.
I am a monument. I am a monument. Fuck America.
in the back, do not push. We got people.
Wait. Yo, stop that, Wait,
Shit, okay? Holy shit.
That has to be bullshit.
Hey, get here.
I'll pause it there. But yeah, boy, she needs some milk. Anyway, going back onto here. So yeah, it's like a Skyrim NPC when they die. I laugh my ass off. I know, right? She can't breathe. Yeah, and it's like it's just it's very unbelievable. So a bad actor. Yeah, I really find it hard to believe that was a genuine seizure. I think she only did that just for the sympathy, I guess. But anyway, so moving on from there. So those were the videos the video that came out of that, which I thought was absolutely hilarious. Her twerking went wrong. Streaky bacon. Oh dear. Faking it, to be honest, her legs shake uncontrollably during an actual seizure. Yeah, I think that is true. I mean, I'm not an expert on seizures or anything like that at all, but I do believe that if the legs themselves, as Tam points out in the chat, if the legs shake uncontrollably during an actual seizure, then that is the case, of course. But as you can see in the video, her legs were not entirely moving. Well, I mean, they were kind of like flopping here and there, but uh, it's bad acting. That's pretty much what it is. So the power of the Lord is in her. Praise be. She can't breathe. She needs some milk. Anyway, let's also move on to one effing attention seeker. Yeah, exactly. And also something I noticed in the video itself, her neck scarf, which at first I thought it was the American flag, which I thought would have been massively ironic, considering she's saying "fuck America" this and "fuck America" that, but she's wearing an American neck scarf. But it was pointed out to me that no, it's not actually the American flag neck scarf she was wearing, but instead it's meant to be the Cuban neck scarf she was wearing, and I'm like, okay, so it's like shake, rattle, and troll. Her dress crushed her backward head. I've seen a lot of the. It will probably get a BAFTA for that. That's shipwreck dancing. And the limbs go stiff as they shake. Yeah, I think that's another point made when it comes to actual seizures. But yes, what point was I was going to make about the whole trial or the case itself? Actually, it's something that I wanted to mention about Kyle Rittenhouse, and that's, let's briefly touch upon trauma or PTSD. Now, depending on, well, not really depending on, regardless of who you are as a person, I know there may be people in the chat may went through a lot of hardships in life, maybe some traumatic experience in your lives. I've certainly have a selection of a few moments in my life that I would deem very traumatic. What happened during this case is the moment when Kyle Rittenhouse was taken to the stand. Now, I know I've talked about this in the previous episode, but it's that clip where Kyle Rittenhouse has a complete nervous or anxiety breakdown. Obviously trying to like breathe heavily and all of that. I'm pretty sure you all know the clip I'm referring to. I want to make a point real quick. I might have already mentioned this before, but that to me is true trauma. That's someone who's definitely went through trauma and definitely going through a really hard experience of dealing with that trauma. Whereas nowadays, if somebody claims to have like PTSD or has some kind of trauma, or something traumatic happened to them, basically it's something along the lines of, "Oh, I'm a guy dressed up like a woman, and someone called me a tranny one time." It's like, no, like, you're not traumatized. You're not a victim. You're just an attention-seeking douchebag. Whereas someone like Kyle Rittenhouse, you could see as an actual victim of trauma. Like, that is actual PTSD right there. So I hope he does recover from this, and I would imagine that he must be over the moon and really happy with the verdict itself. And just real quick from Indigenous Advocate, I heard Sasha Johnson was deliberately shot by a drugs gang because she owned the money for drugs. Oh, that really wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with that. And now they have the sleepy sniffer. That level of public scrutiny would break 95% of people at that age. Yes, exactly. Definitely. Was the sister wearing a wig or did she have dreads? I wouldn't. I have no idea. Or a weave. No, not entirely too sure, to be honest with that. Yeah, see, when it comes to these lefty types, it's the self-diagnosed mental conditions. Exactly. That's a good point, rigor mortis. All these lefty types, the SJWs and all of that, they just come out with these like self-diagnosed mental conditions, but they're not really. Well, of course, they're not exactly real conditions, are they? They're just basically, it's just a way for them to be special, a way for them to make themselves feel superior than everyone else. And it's like, mate, go fuck yourself. But anyway, really enjoyed watching Rittenhouse blow them two rats away. Mine, I've watched it over and over again. Strangely compelling. Wish you'd do it again. Right. Okay. 10 to 7. Right. So pretty much got about 40 minutes left to go. Right. We'll just get on to the next part here. Since we covered those videos in question, next part I want to look at is, or maybe talk about with this case. Actually, you know what? We might as well just talk about, have a look at some tweets and then talk about Rosenbaum and Huber in question. So let me have a look and see Twitter for a moment, because again, there's been a lot of reaction to this, both good and bad, from both sides. So let's have a look at this. Now I'll just see if I can share the screen again real quick. 1 in 4 joggers suffer from mental illness. Kingdom of Vinland, how you doing? Thank you very much for watching the show. Well, these lefties do have a mental condition, but whatever it is, it's not PTSD. Exactly. Good point. Very good point. Right, let me just share the screen real quick and get back onto here. Kyle Rittenhouse. Right, let's see here. So a lot of really interesting tweets came out of this, of course, but let's have a look at this real quick. Coleman Hughes, everyone who is saying that Kyle Rittenhouse would have been found guilty if he were black should recall that Kenneth Walker, Breonna Taylor's BF, shot a cop in self-defense and was cleared of all charges, and rightly so. It's amazing how selective people's memories are. Put the blue chat more tip. Host of conservation with podcast with that. Riveting. Let's move on from there. System is beyond. Yeah, I mean, even something like this, a lot of people try to make a point about, oh, this is white supremacy, this is like white privilege and all of that, and it's like, no. There's evidence to showcase the fact that he was found innocent. He was not guilty in any way, any shape or form. One week, that's Steve Crowder, of course. We'll get the top ones right, that's fine. From Jack Posobiec, let's see what they write here. A psychopath with years of black, Hebrew, Israelite, and anti-white social media posts was just arrested for plowing through a Christmas parade. Oh, that's something we'll cover in part 2, of course. That's something definitely we'll be covering in part 2. Of course, this whole another point to make about this whole case is that they made it out to be about black people. Like, oh, if he was black, then blah blah blah. It's like, no, like just that's not true. That's just a blatant lie. We all know for a fact that black people don't get instantly arrested for whatever the case may be. It just depends on the circumstances. But murder with that, of course. Yep. Second good court decision in 2 weeks. Hallelujah. Ahmaud Arbery and Kyle Rittenhouse, keep them coming. Of course, must be the Christmas parade. That's fine. Something we'll get into later on. So, all right, of course, in part 2 with that. This is also something real true. This should have 10 times the coverage the Kyle Rittenhouse case got. Maxwell case details too sensational and impure for public judge, it says. But we definitely do know that should have a lot more coverage. Not to say that the Kyle Rittenhouse doesn't deserve any coverage, but I think this should have the same amount of coverage that the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict had, or case for that matter. Let's have a look at this real quick. I might actually recognize this person, but Mr. Beast should actually shoot the Squid Game contestants for realism and then claim self-defense. Yeah, so because of this, all these lefty twats trying to make some kind of like snarky remarks about, oh, well, if they did this, that's just self-defense. Obviously, it is, for them, it's making fun of the idea that, oh, well, Kyle Rittenhouse was self-defense, what Kyle Rittenhouse did, and this is them trying to make fun of that. It's like, but it was self-defense. Again, there's Mount Everest amount of evidence to back up the claims that Kyle Rittenhouse did, in fact, defended himself. And the fact that they can make fun of that, it really speaks major volumes in that, of course. It's Thanksgiving, so of course people are going to be posting extra hard here since the alternative is talking to their family members about NFTs and Kyle Rittenhouse. Sam Piker, of course. Let me see. It's stunning how much more angry the Democrat media was right away toward Kyle Rittenhouse for defending himself against the leftist BLM mob than they are right now against a violent criminal who committed mass murder of old ladies and children at a Christmas parade. Again, we'll cover that in part 2. Let me see here. Of course, I'm pretty sure everyone has already seen a lot of the tweets anyway, but again, that's something I will come back to later on, or again in part 2 for a brief moment during the episode. Because what I want to do just now is I want to move on to the two guys in question. So, yeah, new follower. That's really good. Excellent. Sorry. Let's move on to, I'll just come back onto here real quick and then get back onto the shared screen. Shalom, Agent Maxwell. Gamma Sandwich. These shitlib arseholes won't be happy until you can be arrested for being white in public. Exactly. That's what pretty much has come down to at this point. Right. So let me see if I can find the article. If I can actually bring up this part of Twitter as well. Because there was a lot of people who were supporting Rosenbaum and Huber specifically. Again, calling them heroes and all of that, which of course is cringy stuff. But let me see if I can get that up here. And then... So, next part here with this topic is let's get into two people in question, Joseph Rosenbaum and Anthony Huber. So the reason why I want to bring these two people up is we all know about Kyle Rittenhouse. We all know what's been said about Kyle Rittenhouse, whether you like him or dislike him. A lot of people, when it comes to these two scumbags, and I'll bring up onto the screen here for guys, Reed Freaks. Thank you very much, our pal. Let me see here. Yes, these two. The left regarded them as heroes for trying to stop Kyle Rittenhouse or whatever reason it would be. Jacob Blake is a rapist. Of course, here's a really good tweet with that. Joseph Rosenbaum is a pedophile. Anthony Huber is a domestic abuser, and Kyle Rittenhouse is innocent. So, who exactly are these two people in question? Well, these two people were the ones who attacked Kyle Rittenhouse, and these two were gunned down by Kyle Rittenhouse because, again, these two tried to attack Kyle Rittenhouse. I believe one of them, I think it was Joseph Rosenbaum. Again, correct me if I'm wrong in saying this, but I believe it was Joseph Rosenbaum himself said to Kyle Rittenhouse, "If I find you alone out here, I will kill you." So he basically threatened to kill Kyle Rittenhouse. I believe it was Rosenbaum or maybe it was Huber. I'm not entirely too sure. But one of them did say that to Kyle Rittenhouse, which is why you can understand why Kyle would still be very defensive and would want to defend himself during that night, whether it be from these two scumbags or by the BLM mob that were chasing after him. So, regarding to who these two people are, because as I said, the left regard them as heroes. Oh, they should be celebrated because they stand up to the establishment and all other gay shit and all of that. Well, I found this an article about the two scumbags in question. So let's start off with Joseph Rosenbaum real quick, and I'll see if I can get up the criminal record here for Joseph Rosenbaum for this article. See if I can. Oh, I can't really full screen that here. I'll see if I can try and increase the page size, but don't know if I can. I'll give it a try, but see from there again, just for a bit of context with that. So, looks like I can't. Okay, damn it. Oh, I can actually snapshot with this browser for Opera. That's really good. Excellent. Anyway, so I have here the criminal record criminal record for Joseph Rosenbaum. I just want to double check and see if there's anything more with that. Here we go. Special conditions of prohibition for sex offenders. And then we'll see with this part here. Specific terms. The state of Arizona and the defendant agree to the following disposition of this case on the following terms and conditions. The plea that the defendant, Joseph Don Rosenbaum, agrees to plead guilty to the charges. Amendment count 2, sexual conduct with a minor in the second degree, a class 3 felony, perpetrator. Sorry, hold on a second. Again, it's just like the writing is quite small. Dangerous crime against children. And or about the 27th day of March 2002, Joseph Don Rosenbaum committed sexual conduct with a minor in the second degree by intentionally or knowingly attempted to engage in an act of sexual intercourse with a minor under the age of 15 years by penetrating the victim's anus with his penis, in violation of ARS, 13.14.5, that. And of course, more here. Amended count 5, sexual conduct with a minor in the second degree in a class 3 felony. On about the 27th day of March 2007, committed sexual. I don't know if that may be the same one with that, but or no one attempted to engage with that. Range from the defendant with that. So basically, again, the short story to that is that he was convicted of molesting children. So what I know about Joseph Rosenbaum, doing a slight bit of research into it, again, just for the episode, Joseph Rosenbaum was known for dating single women who more specifically had children, so single mothers in this case. And he would deliberately going out dating single mothers so that he can get closer to the children. And as we mentioned with the criminal record itself, he would take these children from these single mothers and rape them or molest them. So again, this is someone who the left as regards as a hero to the left, or it should be looked at as a hero regarding to the Kyle Rittenhouse case, which again speaks many volumes on the type of people we're dealing with here. You shall not initiate, establish, or maintain contact with any minor during the minor child under the age of 18, nor attempt to do any except, of course, I'm sure I could read that here in this case with that, shall not go near. So, of course, he's not allowed to go near any children with that whatsoever. Rosenbaum was convicted on August 8th, 2016 for interfering with a monitoring device and was placed on lifetime probation in 2002. However, court records say he had violations while on probation, including using synthetic cannabinoid and alcohol, I guess that's maybe cannabis, and alcohol, not participating in sex offender treatment, and accessing sexual oriented materials considering inappropriate. While in prison in Arizona, he racked up many violations that were assaultive in nature. And of course, there's the examples of that here. There's a verbal written order, obstructing staff, assault on staff. So multiple assaults, disobeying orders and all of that. So the guy, as you can clearly tell, is a massive scumbag. So in Wisconsin, he had pending cases. He had open criminal cases according to Wisconsin online court records. One was for misdemeanor bail jumping and was filed on July 30th, 2020, so last year. He also had misdemeanor cases for battery with a domestic abuse modifier and disorderly conduct domestic abuse. The bail conditions read not to possess or consume alcohol, not to possess or consume controlled substances without a prescription, no contact including the resident's electronic or third party with Carrie Ann S. Park Ridge Inn. When his fiancée found pornography on his phone, the Wisconsin Post reported Rosenbaum body slammed her and ended up in jail. He attempted suicide. Court records from the Arizona court system where he was convicted in a child molestation-related case gave the background of Rosenbaum and described it as extremely troubled. So what I'll do, folks, is if you want to read that part of the Joseph Rosenbaum case, there is the article itself. You can easily find the criminal record for Joseph Rosenbaum in that article right here. Another thing I want to also see if I could find here. So we do know for a fact that Joseph Rosenbaum is a child molester, complete utter scumbag, and the fact that people are looking up to him as a hero, even what's his name, the guy who's in the Marvel movies as the Incredible Hulk, Mark Ruffalo, I think, he gave praise to both Huber and Rosenbaum and calling Joseph Rosenbaum Jojo, which is just absolutely disgusting in my opinion. The amount of mental gymnastics these people have to go through to not support Kyle Rittenhouse, but instead defending these complete cunts, it just speaks many volumes, in my opinion. So, anyway, let's move on to Anthony Huber's criminal record. As we can see here, Anthony Huber also has a criminal record. Court records in Wisconsin show that Huber was convicted of disorderly conduct in 2018 as a domestic abuse repeater. It was a misdemeanor. He was cited for possessing drug paraphernalia. Of course, more degenerate stuff like that. His most serious case came when he was found guilty of a felony for strangulation and suffocation domestic abuse. He was also convicted in that case of felony false imprisonment with a dangerous weapon domestic abuse. A charge of second-degree recklessly endangering safety was dismissed and read in, as was a charge of battery and 2 charges of disorderly conduct. He was ordered not to possess weapons and no conduct orders were issued. In court, Rittenhouse's defense attorney, Corey Chirafisi, I hope I pronounced that right, gave more details about the case. It turns out it involved his brother. Sorry, excuse me one sec. And I believe this was something that was mentioned in the court hearing himself, but let's have a look. Huber told his brother that if he didn't start cleaning a room in his house, he was going to gut him like a pig. Poor Anthony Huber said this. Said in court, adding the New York Post reported that Huber did this while holding a 6-inch butcher's knife to the brother's stomach. Huber grabbed his brother by the neck, dragged his nails in, and choked him for approximately 10 seconds. Chirafisi said he put a knife to his brother's left ear and his brother felt it cut. The defense attorney said that Huber said, "I'm going to burn the house down with all you fuckers in it." Again, this is supposed to be. This was Anthony Huber, who's basically a domestic abuser and a major abuser. Again, somebody besides Joseph Rosenbaum, the left want you to believe that these are complete heroes, when in actuality they're complete scumbags. Absolute the definition of the word. And let me also bring up one particular tweet. Again, this was from Pedro Pascal, I think the actor's name is. God damn it, fuck you. Not to worry, I got like another article anyway, so let's see if I can actually get that up here real quick. So 1 second. Again, the article itself does have more about these criminal records, so if you want to check that out for yourself, I'll even post it in the link again, just in case if people missed it. There's the article in question right there. But basically, in short, Rosenbaum is a pedophile. Huber is a domestic abuser. So let me just move on to this part here. Did I? Oh, no, that should be fine. Right. Okay, no worries. Let me just get back on to this article right here. Disney stars defending convicted pedophiles is not a good look. And this is all to do with the quote-unquote victims of the Kyle Rittenhouse case, despite the fact there was no victims. The only victims I could really think of with this whole case was Kyle Rittenhouse himself. But let's move on from there with that. So, also, I'll share the screen real quick again. The far left of the dregs of society, absolutely. No, Chief Moody, what is your opinion on Toad in the Hole? I think I remember having that. When was it I last had Toad in the Hole? I think it was maybe during Christmas last year. I'm not entirely too sure, but yeah, I think it's okay. If not really like against it, nothing really like a fan of it or anything like that at all. But yeah, it's all right. So let me see here. Disney stars defending convicted, as I mentioned with the article itself. Despite making millions playing superheroes and galactic bounty hunters, Hollywood actors Mark Ruffalo and Pedro Pascal are proving that they can't tell who's a villain. Sorry, excuse me. Last Friday, teenager Kyle Rittenhouse was found not guilty of first-degree homicide. A jury decided that he shot 3 people, 2 fatally in self-defense during a riot in Kenosha, Wisconsin. More than a year of shoddy journalism throughout the case's coverage resulted in an American social media reaction. Largely split down political party lines. In Hollywood, progressives angrily complained, while the handful of openly conservative actors that still exist lauded the decision as a just outcome based on evidence. Notably, a pair of Disney stars expressed regret that the 2 deceased men, Anthony Hubert and Joseph Rosenbaum, were no longer with us. They quickly found that Twitter wasn't having it. Mark Ruffalo, who's played Bruce Banner and the Hulk for Marvel Studios since the Avengers in 2012, tweeted first, "We come together," he desponded, "to mourn the lives lost to the same racist system that devalues Black lives and devalued the lives of Anthony and Jojo. Hashtag reimagine Kenosha," which, and that, of course, not really much of a surprise considering this is a celebrity saying this, but it just goes to show just what a massive cuck Mark Ruffalo really is as a person. And this is why no one really should support him or his work in any way, shape, or form. So moving on from there, we have, as I mentioned, Pedro Pascal, who plays the title character on the Star Wars Disney Plus show, The Mandalorian, tweeted a similar sentiment on the following day, complete with photos of both men smiling like saints. Joseph Rosenbaum, 36, and Anthony Hubert, 27, murdered August 25th, 2020. Rest in peace. Oh, Jesus. Apart from both statements in view of Rittenhouse acquittal being horrendously defamatory, it is worth taking a closer look at the lives led by the dearly departed Anthony and Jojo. Hubert was a violent criminal who threatened family members with a knife and was convicted of repeated domestic abuse, as I mentioned earlier on. Such a felonious past hasn't prevented the left from posthumously canonizing other people, certainly, but the straw hat snapped this Campbell's spine like a human bicep, shot point blank with an AR-15, was Ruffalo's and Pascal's attempts to eulogize Jojo Rosenbaum. Rosenbaum his lengthy criminal record shows was a pedophile rapist of young boys. The precise details are best left unarticulated, but the crimes are abhorrent as they are, and many including forcible sodomy. Perhaps a leftist echo chamber in which Mark Ruffalo and Pedro Pascal reside has walls too thick to admit such information when it poses a progressive narrative, or maybe they're simply too intellectually incurious to bother to use a search engine before spewing their opinions online. Whenever the case, their layman's met pushback, although pushback may be an understatement. But yeah, it really just goes to show that people just can. Nobody in their right mind should ever take these people seriously whatsoever. These actors and actresses, these figureheads within Hollywood should never be taken seriously whatsoever. They're a complete, utter. It's just unbelievable. The fact that people, even after the whole verdict came to a head, and it all was said and done, Kyle Rittenhouse was not guilty and all of that. Not even after that, even before then, I really want to understand why people on the left would still defend Rosenbaum and Hubert, and probably known for the stuff that they've done. It's just, it's mind-boggling how you can defend Rosenbaum and Hubert but not Kyle Rittenhouse. It's just, again, the amount of mental gymnastics these lefty types have to go through to just I'm sorry, I can't even say it with a straight face because it's mind-boggling of the length these people will go to not support someone like Kyle Rittenhouse for whatever reason and instead support these absolute scumbags. I think this is a point I want to make real quick to these lefty types. If these are people who will, even after the verdict has ended, will still support people like Rosenbaum and Huber, those people really need to reevaluate themselves because even then, even those who don't support Kyle Rittenhouse, they must have looked at these two and thought, this could make me really look bad. I can't really support anything they've done because of, obviously because they don't want to support people like pedophiles or domestic abusers. Because I think, as I said, I think this will make them look really bad. But anyway, Gamma, let me see here, because for 1,000, yeah. So of course, a lot of people reacted to the tweets themselves, and of course, we're not happy with it. Child rapist defending fucking cunt and compromised sellout bastard, explained Paul Joseph Watson. And again, this is another response from Stephen Crowder. Why are you so aggressively normalizing pedophilia? Which again is a very valid question to ask. Seth Dillon, you just publicly honored a guy who anally raped young children and tried to murder a teenager. Again, very valid point. Benny Johnson pointed out that the strongest defenders of convicted pedophiles are Disney stars, which really speaks a lot of volumes with that. It's Mr. Johnson's observation that stands out as the most troubling. Mr. Ruffalo has played the Hulk, a perpetual global marketing fixture on toys, cartoons, backpacks, and toothbrushes for almost a decade, and will continue to do so on the upcoming Disney Plus show She-Hulk. Mr. Pascal will be reprising his lead role of The Mandalorian for its third season, currently in production. Considering the firestorm of criticism these two actors have set ablaze, as well as the Walt Disney Company's carefully curated presentation as a champion of children, one must ask Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars leadership, which the following are Bob Chapek, Kevin Feige, and Jon Favreau, etc. and all. An important question: why keep them? The Hulk is an entirely computer-generated creation, and he wasn't even originally played by Mark Ruffalo in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, who replaced Edward Norton as the character after 2008's The Incredible Hulk. Is Ruffalo so vital that a children's entertainment company must retain an actor who uses pet names for pedophiles? The Mandalorian famously keeps his helmet on at almost all times and speaks in a faltered voice. Is Pascal so necessary that he absolutely has to stay in the role, famous for caretaking the character, literally named the child, when Pedro himself expresses such sympathy for a man who molested and sodomized children? One last point to read out here, real quick. Disney doesn't have a problem recasting important characters in its Marvel and Star Wars projects. Ask Mr. Norton, Terrence Howard, the first War Machine before Don Cheadle, or Jeremy Bulloch, though admittedly the latter is deceased. The original Boba Fett, now played by Tamara Morrison, I think. Considering the association Mark Ruffalo and Pedro Pascal now have with praising pedophiles, and judging by the Twitter trending vehemence that praise met, the association isn't going away soon. It would behoove Disney. I don't know why I would get that word wrong. Sorry, Disney to sever ties with their unapologetic talent before a failure to do so enforces existing rumors about the company. For a billion-dollar producer of children's programming, expressions of support for a child rapist simply must be a bridge too far. Exactly. Very valid point regarding to that article. So, very valid point. Let me see from there. For English, whether a lot of these stars speaking out for the villains are pedos themselves. Yeah, well, see, that's the thing when it comes to people like Mark Ruffalo and Pedro Pascal. They're part of the Hollywood system, so I would never really be surprised to see that they would probably be involved in that degenerate shit to begin with. So, Joe Marsh, Wales are catching up with the jocks. We'll see. I think it's It's pretty close, Joe. I would it's pretty close, but I think PA Scotland are still superior than all the other regional groups. But that's my opinion of that, of course, my opinion. So, Jojo Gizmo, real quick, they are releasing a cover version of an old Otis Redding song to raise money for the dinghy divers who drowned. That's just really cringy shit. Shitting on the dock of Shells will be released on Monday. Jesus, that's gonna be that's gonna be really interesting when that comes out. Joel, sorry, Noel, Chief Rudy Soundboard, fuck that. True, very true. Let me see what else. Jogga Fett, Jeremy Bullock. Right. She-Hulk. I simply must view that film. Let me see here. Yeah, well said from PJW, definitely. Rigor Mortis, the left made their own narrative straight after the shooting, so after more information about the commies came out, they had to double down to save face in hopes they would have won the courts. Yeah, exactly. Very good point. That's pretty much exactly why they did that. So, let me see here. Kosher cookies, yep. Most of the left like him because they are like him. The Rainbow Nation is coming for your kids. They even say it themselves. Yeah, if I remember there was a video, like a music, well, I don't want to call it a music video, but basically it was made by this like gay dancing company, and it's filled to the brim of homosexuals. Of course, in the song lyrics, they say, "Oh, we're coming for your children. You know, you may not like it, but it's definitely happening," which really speaks a lot of volumes with that. And of course, you find out that most of the members of that dancing group or musical group were all convicted pedophiles themselves. So, yeah, it really speaks a lot of volumes with that. Jay's always defend Jay's absolutely. I mean, this whole case happened with Kyle Rittenhouse being arrested and being trampled down by the system, is because he's a white boy who gunned down in self defense a couple of guys who were part of the Jay tribe. That's why this whole case happened. And that's why I was feeling very black-pilled, was mainly because I thought, because the system is run by the Jays, I thought Kyle Rittenhouse was going to be screwed over, regardless of if he was going to be guilty or not guilty. But let me see here. Right. This is why I'm going to make this a part 2, folks. Because hold on one second. For Rory Herbert, real quick. Chief Mooney, don't forget to wish your American audience a happy Thanksgiving tonight. Yeah, I've just seen that before the show started. That there was a lot of posts on Instagram and all of that. But yes, I'm not entirely too sure when exactly Thanksgiving is. I think it must be late this month. In fact, it might be even today or tomorrow. But for all my American viewers watching just now, or after after it goes stop being live and upload onto my channel, I want to wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully, you may celebrate that with your loved ones, being friends or family, and hopefully, you have a great time with Thanksgiving. So it's kind of weird for me to say, because again, I'm from Britain. Of course, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. But again, to my American viewers, I wish you the very best and have a very happy Thanksgiving when it comes. Chief Mooney, that was yes, thank you, Tam, for that. That was the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir. That's what it was. I think it was something I did talked about on the show before. Can't remember which episode it was, but anyway, let's move on from there. Let me see here. Happy Thanksgiving to any of our American cousins in the chat. Very, very true, Jojo. Thank you very much for that. Is where they give thanks that they ain't jokers, I think. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let me also see if I can find the song real quick, because it's just coming up to it's 7:25. I did say I was going to end the show at 7:30 again, just making it like an hour and a half. So I think I'll end the show here and cover the rest of this case, and of course what happened earlier this week in part 2. But what I want to do firstly is I want to see if I can find a song. I can't remember who sent it to me, but is a song that perfectly fits for tonight's episode. So let me see if I can find that real quick and see if I can play it for the show tonight. Was it this one? Yes, it was. Right, okay. Let's see if I can get that up here. I'll play it on the show. Yeah, that's fine. I'll also play it for part 2, but again, just for the closing song, I'll definitely play it as well. So I hope everyone enjoyed part 1 this evening, and I cannot wait to talk about part 2 this Sunday from at 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. I definitely will do it as a 2-hour long episode for Sunday, and then we'll cover it all from there. Love you to share the stream with you all. Please take care and be safe. Same to yourself, English Rose. I appreciate you being here again. And of course, I hope everyone has enjoyed the episode tonight. And please tune in for part 2 on Sunday, which I think is going to be Sunday let me have a look here, the 28th of November. And again, that will be at 5 p.m. So, well, I'll end the show here real quick. Let me just quickly get some stuff up here. Of course, I'll get the banner up here to support Patriotic Alternative. And then I'll get the song I was going to play for Sunday, but of course I'll play it here, so which perfectly fits the overall topic of Kyle Rittenhouse. So let me see if I saved it in here. Yeah, this would be the one. Perfect. Okay, get back onto the comments. Right. Hopefully catch the start on Sunday. Thank you very much, Sense of Communion. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, I got the song up here, Turbo Duckhead. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, Chief Mooney. Thank you very much, Aunt Sally. Thank you also for watching the show. And please tune in to part 2 for this Sunday for Kyle Rittenhouse. I'll also rename the stream to part 1, so we'll see from there. But again, thank you all very much for watching. This is Chief Moody signing out. You have been watching the Mood of the Nation podcast, and I will see you all again on Sunday with episode 46 and part 2 of the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict. I shall see you there at 5 p.m. and thank you once again. Take care, stay safe, and good night. And have a great weekend when it comes. Thank you.
And it's up in Kenosha, that's where I long to be, protecting gas stations with commandos next to me. A comrade on me left, another one on me right, and a couple mags of ammo for me little Armalite. Well, this brave BLM man came marching up our street, 600 and our kiddies he had lined up at his feet. Come out, you cowardly Nazis, come on out and fight. He cried, I'm only joking, when he heard the Armalite. And it's up in Kenosha, that's where I long to be, protecting gas stations with commandos next to me. A comrade on me left, another one on me right, and a couple mags of ammo for me little Armalite. Well, the commies came to visit me, 'twas in the late hours, with communists and anarchists attacking parked cars. They thought they had me cornered, but I gave them all a fright, with the arm-piercing bullets from me little Armalite. And it's up in Kenosha, that's where I long to be, protecting gas stations with commandos next to me. A comrade on me left, another one on me right, and a couple mags of ammo for me little Armalite. To my city there came joggers, they shouted, I can't breathe. They burned down all the buildings and they all refused to leave. They rioted and looted, they went strong for 80 nights, until I started aiming with me little Armalite. And it's up in Kenosha, that's where I long to be, protecting gas stations with commandos next to me. A comrade on me left, another one on me right, and a couple bags of ammo for me little Armalite. The Reds came to Kenosha to riot just for fun. The DNC had told them that the cops were on the run, but communists and primates, while on a jog at night, say, remember Kyle Slaughter and the bloody Armalite. And it's up in Kenosha, that's where I long to be, protecting gas stations with commandos next to me. A comrade on me left, another one on me right, and a couple mags of ammo for me little Armalite.